Hi and welcome to college rugby. In 2010, they set the standard for New Zealand schoolboy rugby. They went 20 games undefeated and won the national title. Yes, I'm talking about Mt Albert Grammar, who take on their old rivals, Kelston Boys, today. Now, they're not only playing for valuable points, they're also playing for the Moaska Cup, which is the Ramfilly Shield of schoolboy rugby. Really looking forward to this one here on the Rugby Channel.
Mt Albert Grammar School, the first 15 holds that Moaska Cup. They had a mighty 2010, but this is a new season. They're ready to defend the cup for the first time. The challengers are Kelston Boys High School. They've a record that proves they won't be intimidated by Mags. This has the makings of a tremendous college match here on the Rugby Channel. Well, a beautiful skylight here as we look at the mottos for both these teams, getting confused there with gambling. Mt Albert Grammar through hardship to glory, and Kelston Boys High School to wisdom with honour. Those are the two teams which are fronting up today, and I think it's fair to say that when you hold the Moaska Cup, you can't bask in the glory for very long, because you know that each and every challenger that comes your way is going to present major hurdles. And I think, Ken, that Kelston Boys High will be very, very tough to knock over against Mags today.
Exactly. Well, you know, a famous trophy, two iconic schools that have really been the benchmark for secondary school rugby in New Zealand. Both in great form. Looking forward to a wonderful match. Yeah,
and Bill, you saw Kelston play a couple of weeks ago, so you've got a fair idea of what they're capable of.
Oh, they're very impressive. They're a young team, but they're on the way up. And what I'd expect, the ground here is absolutely perfect. They spend a lot of money preparing this ground today, sand-based, so I'd expect an expansive game. So I think we're going to see an entertaining afternoon of rugby.
Oh, I think so, yes. This ground looks fantastic. There it is, brand new. It's virginal, basically. This is the first time it's been used for a rugby match here. And down there on the middle of it, and all dressed up in his grandfather's old Mags jacket, is Mark Watson. Very proud, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, John. Thank you, guys. This is a very special occasion for myself. Being an old boy of Mt Albert Grammar, I thought it only appropriate I actually bring my dad's old blazer out to play today. He was awarded this for playing first 11 hockey back in the 1950s. Now, people out there are going to go, hey, hang on a minute. Commentators, you're supposed to be impartial. Well, I am impartial, and you'll understand the reason why when I talk to you about Kelston Boys High School. What a wonderful school it is. What great history. The likes of Mills, Millier, Enid to come out of it. Inga Tuigamala, Case Muse, just to name a few. And so Mt Albert Grammar has also produced 13 All Blacks, its latest, Sonny Bill Williams. But perhaps Mt Albert Grammar's most famous old boy is Peter Snell. But there's a nice connection with Peter and Kelston, because he learnt his trade. He applied everything he knew in the Waitarua, the famous running track through the back of the Waitakere, which of course is the backyard to Kelston Boys High School. So not just wonderful contributors to New Zealand rugby, but both schools have played a great part in perhaps New Zealand's greatest ever athlete in Peter Snell.
He tried very, very hard, didn't he, to sort of balance things. But we know it's all he's done today is talk about Mags and how good Mags are and how they're going to win this. So we've got to balance it up by talking about the good points about Kelston, Ken.
That's right. Well, thankfully, they've also improved the quality of the blazer.
Yes.
From the days when his father was wearing his one. Yes, but Kelston, dominant school with a great pedigree as well. There they are, getting ready for the competition. And they too have got some quality players. We saw them earlier on this season in their team. Pahulu, Kumazaki and Vianney in the front row. Balazia, Manukia, the locks, the lower, Neri and Tokonkio, the back row. Fuko and Adams, the halves. Tavita and Vaenga are in midfield. Watimi Paraki, who scored a wonderful try against Kings, and Tumusa are on the wings. Visenia, who is a ball-running fullback, will be in the 15 jersey. And their captain is with Mark Watson.
Taylor Adams, the third game of the Auckland Secondary School Championship, doesn't come any bigger than the national champions, Mt Albert Grammar School.
Yeah, for sure. You know, they're a big school, national champions at the moment, so it's going to be a big game, and we'll put ourselves against the best, you know, and see where we are.
We saw you on the Rugby Channel a couple of weeks ago against King's College. What lessons have been learnt?
You know, I think just to stay tighter in that defence, you know, I think we left a few too many holes, and especially towards the end when they scored that last try. So just be very tight on defence. You know, we've got to play down on the Mag side of the field.
Yeah, so let's talk about tactics then. What is the plan?
Definitely to play down in their half, you know, put pressure on them. They haven't been put under pressure yet this year. So look to really strangle them down in the corners in their side of the half.
And for the Mount Albert team, of course, the defending champions from 2010, Napa'a, Halaholo and Hodgman. The front row, Teal and Cameron Rutherford. The two locks, Lamb, Devine and Manahira, an acquisition in the off-season, will wear the 8 jersey. Cowley and McAllister Poi, who was a winger last year, this year at 10. Mohi and Devry, and he can play that. Lewis Devry at centre. Stewart and Nico on the wings. And the outstanding Tamakere Soma is at fullback. And their captain is sideline with Mark Watson.
Dylan Halaholo, Mount Albert Grammar, a year on from being national champions. How's the side looking?
The side's looking real great. No difference from last year. All the boys have been putting in the hard work since pre-season. So yeah, we're ready to rock and roll.
Special significance today. It's the first time you defend the Moaska Cup.
Yeah, it's an honour to hold the Moaska Cup. A lot of history throughout the cup. But yeah, we're just ready for it.
Let's talk a little bit about weather conditions today. Are they going to affect the way you play the game?
I don't think so. This is a new pitch that we're playing on today, first time. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, the weather looks fantastic. In fact, it is 17 degrees. There has been a few drizzle patches throughout the afternoon. The field conditions soft. I'm not sure we walked out on that, but it is a new pitch, so we'll see how well it stands to this first game that it's played upon. All right, they do say that it's harder to defend a title than win it, and that's something that Mount Albert Grammar will find out today in this match against Kelston. So Alex Lewis begins this week's preview with a Mags Old Boy.
Blues lock Stephen Luatur is proof of just how close college rugby is to the big time. A year and a half ago, he was playing for Mt Albert Grammar and helping them win the Auckland Schools final. And now, he's living the dream and playing for one of the big Super 15 franchises.
It's been going good. I mean, you get to rub shoulders with guys like John Kino and Kevin Milami when just get to feed off them. Ali Williams, same position and stuff, so learning a lot. Just gymming with them, you know, I'm still in awe. You know, I see the boys around and you know, I'm still kind of like, starstruck.
I'm very proud. I've been very proud of him since I first met him, really. Very humble kid, cheeky, you know, in a humble way. And it's usually the humble ones who work hard and are respectful to their families and themselves and the people around them. You're the ones that sort of get the nod, really.
Is he a potential All Black?
Yeah, he'd be potential All Black. Yeah, definitely potential. I'll leave it there because I don't know. He might give me a text later on and I'll say, "You sure I said that?" So I'll just, yes, definitely potentially.
Well, one of those big stars that Stephen brushes shoulders with every day is Charlie's son, Luke McAllister. He spends a bit of time helping his dad's team and isn't surprised by their success.
I think they put a lot of work in pre-season. You know, they've been training for months now. I think doing a lot of ball work through that period has been crucial from my dad's side. I know he does a lot of ball work with them, a lot of skill work. They've got a really good culture amongst the unit. I've noticed that every time I've been in there, they're always really welcoming and not shy to new things. You know, they're open to a lot of advice. You know, I go in and help them out sometimes and they listen. And that's a good thing with school kids. They actually want to learn and they've got that hunger to learn, which is really good.
Kicked away by Matt McGann. Championship time. Mount Albert Grammar School.
Well, it doesn't get too much better in New Zealand secondary school rugby than winning these two trophies. This one closest to New Zealand Moaska Cup. This is the equivalent of the Ranfurly Shield of secondary school rugby. So it's a Challenge Cup, and we were very fortunate enough to win it in the final last year against Hamilton Boys on the national final when we actually won the New Zealand Barbarians Cup.
The best school in New Zealand, that title, what has it done for Mount Albert Grammar?
Many have tried, but few have succeeded. So it generally sort of lifted things around here, and yeah, it was a wonderful few months, and it still is. We're still very proud of the achievement, and obviously this year's another year, and it's all up for grabs again.
Mags have battled the last wee while. Now it just happens to be our turn in the sun, really. I guess we're the hunted now, so we have to work even harder.
Well, Mount Albert Grammar haven't played a home game here for around 10 months, and that's because this pitch has had a massive overhaul. It's been dug up, relayed, and it is substantially better than what was here before.
In terms of the style that we wanted to play, it would threaten that kind of style of footy, because we have a lot of students here that are quite exciting kids, and they want to express themselves, and playing under heavy ground with 4 or 5 inches of mud, in some areas a lot deeper, it just wasn't positive for the boys' skills really.
So a new pitch, a new team and a new haka.
We didn't do it last year or the year before. We always done it after the games, but I think it's time for a change.
Looks like you need a little bit more practice.
Yeah, we do. It's around like 4 out of 10 or 2 out of 10.
Well, you can expect much more than 2 out of 10 from the defending champions come game time.
1, 2, 3, mags. 1, 2, 3, bubble. 1, 2, 3, buzz.
Well, new pitch, new team, new haka, but certainly not a new coach for the home team, Mt Albert Grammar. And it's interesting that Charlie McAllister has given so much to college rugby, isn't it? And he thrives on it.
Well, he's been out an outstanding example, and I grew up watching Charlie McAllister and played a few club games against him in Taranaki, and he just commands respect, not by what he says, but by what he does. He's very consistent in his selection, and I spoke with Charlie, and what he's not just interested in them as rugby players, he's interested in the whole person. So it's about developing the whole person as well. So I think that's really, really important, and that's where he gains respect and, and really helps his young men.
All right, and it also does come down to a battle of the coaches, and the Kelston Boys High School coaches now with Mark Watson.
Guys, I've got standing with me a nervous coach, Sielsi Vaili, the coach of Kelston Boys High School. This is just a massive occasion.
Of course, the boys are looking forward to this game. Mags, they've got a really good side, and they're a smart team, well coached. We've got huge respect for them. But today, the boys are really clear what they have to do on the field, and it's all about getting the job done.
A lot of similarities between the two sides, a large Polynesian influence in both teams. You like to play it physical, you like to play it fast.
Yeah, well, we know our strength, and we're trying to play to our strength. So we've got a big forward back, and we want to stick to that. And I think the boys, they know exactly what to do today, so they're going to get the job done.
Where are the strengths in your particular side?
The forwards, we've done a lot of work with the forwards. But in saying that, our backs are ready to go, and we can play a wide game as well. So in saying that, our forwards have got there's a strength in our team, but also we've got backs that can finish off. Yeah.
Well, Sielsi, a very quietly spoken man, but he's got a steely determination there, and that team that he's got is ready to fire against this Mags team, isn't it, Ken?
Yes, it is. Well, these are the big games that the players get up for. Sure, it's all part of the regular season, but as we said earlier, Kelston's are an iconic school with a great, rich history, as is Mt Albert. So it's a great opportunity and a great occasion.
All right, you get a feeling of what's in store today. 2 teams with impressive records wanting to outdo each other. It's college test match rugby here, and it comes your way very soon.
This is the future. This is the future.
College First 15 Rugby on the Rugby Channel is proudly brought to you by Under Armour.
G'day, mate. How you going? Your cousin Mick from Australia. Yeah, Uncle Trevor's son. Where is she, mate? Look, where is she?
I found it.
Come on, loves, round here.
With every game live on Sky, you'll be in for a few visitors this September.
Iron Man 2, coming soon to Sky Movies.
Here we go then. First of all, the teams will come out then. There'll be the haka, and they'll be eyeing each other off. And the referee and the touch judges will be standing nervously, and the crowd will be expectant, and then we'll be ready to go with kickoff here in this match between Mt Albert Grammar and Kelston Boys High School on Mt Albert Grammar's home ground. The Kelston Boys High School team on the move now.
8 wins and 3 losses in 2010. They've won the Auckland Championship 11 times. Kelston also very dominant in sevens and a touch. Pahulu and Kumazaki are very, very impressive players. He lower the blindside flanker. Last time we saw him, he was at 8. Taylor Adams, the captain, is a player with tremendous talent and ability. He's a smart player, clever on his feet. And Matthew Vaenga at centre is a quality player as well. We're looking forward to seeing Fa'alolongo Fa'ata and Samoa Fa'ata. A couple of exciting players coming through. And now the home team at Mount Albert, they have won the Auckland title 20 times, including 3 of the last 4. A dominant school in good form with a great program, well prepared. And Dylan Haloholo, who's these days the captain, he played number 8 in the final last year. Alex Hodgman, the tight head prop, another player in the off-season promoted from the bench. And Cameron Rutherford in jersey 5 is 6'7" and a member of the Blues under-18s team last year. Pele Fafunga Cowley at halfback. We know from 2010 what a tremendous talent he is. Devry and number 11, Damon Nikor. Big, solid, and very powerful players with the ball in hand, those two. And coming from the bench, Woodman, Pittman, and George Edwards. And Coach McAllister told me very excited about his prospects in 2011.
Pre-match ritual. Mags. Get ready for something special in this final build-up to this match. Mags and Kelston Boys High School. Mount Albert Grammar. Big support for them here today. We saw it in slow motion in the build-up.
That was very, very impressive. You heard the captain, Dylan Haloholo, say they've been practicing their haka during the week, and he gave them a 4 out of 10. What do you reckon, Ken? They've come up a bit. And Kelston boys were impressive as always as well, weren't they?
Very impressive.
It's always a great opening. And this now is the man with the whistle. This is Rob Parks, who refereed the final last year, featuring Mags, of course. He will be in charge. His man on the touch line will be Dave Goldfinch and Ryan Stevens. So we're ready now, 35 minutes. Nice sunshine, good conditions, new ground here. And in the build-up, you saw what a mess this ground was just 12 months ago, or less than 12 months ago. It looks fantastic now. Still a new ground. We'll see how it lasts in this first game. Rob Parks ready to blow. The kickoff from Taylor Adams, the captain of Kelston Boys, pushing it deep inside the 22. Here's the first tackle broken already by Mags. That's